in there. Okay, very good. We are ready to go on to segment 2, and that's going to be legislative committee update and phone action. So we are going to go first with Linda Greason. And Linda?
Actually, Arleta, hold on 1 second, please. Okay.
Blitz, I'm so glad you can be with me here today at the Missouri State Capitol. You know, it's really important that MRTA stays on top of everything that happens here, so I really need your help. There's so many bills that can affect teachers and teacher pensions and education as a whole, so our work here is very, very important. But I have good news for you. On February 8th, 2022, we're going to have a live in-person legislative day here. So let's go check it out and see what's going on inside.
Oh gosh, that's good. That's good.
Arleta, you're muted.
Good job, Steph.
Arleta, you're muted.
Linda, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Madam Chair.
Just a second ago, Sarah had her picture on. If you don't know who she is, that was her picture. And she is here today, and she's going to give us a legislative committee report. Take it away, Linda.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. First, I want to say good morning to everyone. Like she said, I'm Linda Greason, and I'm your MRTA Legislative Committee Chairwoman. First off, I want to thank you and your local members for contacting your legislators on MRTA Blitz Day. Sadly, we weren't in the Capitol this year, dressed in our red. We can do better next year, and we actually need 80% of our members contacting their legislators on Blitz Day next year, which again, you saw just a few minutes ago, will be Tuesday, February the 8th, 2022. So go ahead and put that date on your calendar, and go ahead and have your local members calendar that date, February the 8th, 2022. Because the numbers of contacts a legislator receives is what they pay attention to, especially when those contacts come from folks who vote regularly in elections. Now, your contacts with your legislators improves your relationship with them. They should know your name, your state senator, your representative, state representative. When you send an email or call their office, they should know your name and know that you're a retired teacher. Now, in your packet that you have, or your book, you'll find a listing of the Region Legislative Committee chairs. And you need to look through that and find your region, find out who yours is. And it wouldn't hurt to make contact with that person at all. And then the next thing in your packet there is the MRTA Legislative Committee goals and duties. And I want you to look particularly at number 1 on that list. It says, we're encouraging all units to have a legislative committee chairperson, but I always say all local units must have a legislative committee chairperson. Otherwise, you don't have any way to really keep up with what's going on. And I don't mean you covering that position, because no one else will step up and volunteer for it. And this page that your the information there about this legislative committee chairperson, you can use that information to recruit your legislative chair for your local unit. If you'll just stop and think through the members in your local unit, someone's going to come to mind that you know has an interest in the issues and laws, and that whenever regarding defined benefit pensions and public education. Now notice I didn't say someone in your unit who has an interest in politics. It needs to be someone with an interest in those issues, because we don't need to get separated on the two political parties. So the Legislative Committee of MRTA is not about political parties. It's about preserving and protecting our defined benefit pension system of public education employees in Missouri. Then the next step you need to do, once you have this person in mind, then call that person and invite them to be your Legislative Committee chairperson for your local unit. You'll say something like, is there any reason why you couldn't help our local unit by serving as the legislative chair? When you put it that way, it's kind of hard for them to come up with, well, I don't think so. And most likely, they're going to say something like, well, what do I need to do? So then that's when you're going to go, the next page in there are the goals and duties for the Legislative Committee members. And then you need to say, can I drop this off to you? And when you go by their house to drop this off to them, ask them again to help you as the president by serving as the unit legislative chairperson. And that's how you're going to get your Legislative Committee chairperson. Now, the next thing you will find there in your packet will be the 2021 legislative platform. And at this point, we're going to have, Jim Kreider is going to talk to us about the legislative issues and the ones that are important to us. Jim? You're muted, Jim.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whew. I want to tell everybody I've been zooming my butt off and I still don't quite get it sometimes. But the worst thing about Zoom is that you have to look at yourself or as you're talking. So anyway, it kind of distracts me when I think my hair's out of place or something, you know. But anyway, I want to start off by saying, since this is our first committee report, I want to remind everyone how important the standing committees of MRTA are. I think we need to be reminded as we focus on legislation first and foremost, is that these committees are designed to help the retiree live a decent life in retirement and to allow opportunities for members to volunteer. I seen an article the other day. It said, if you want to live to be 100, you're going to need more than money. And the whole point of the article was that one has to stay engaged, one has to keep their mind working, one has to be active, and one has to have some kind of cause that helps them to get up in the morning. And MRTA was designed to supply that to retirees, supply or to give the opportunity for members to volunteer and be involved. So let's remember that in these committees. It's not just about the work, it's about being involved and socializing and having a cause in which you can really make a difference for not only public education as a whole and all those kids going to school, but for the people that have put in a career in the classroom. And so committees are important. Yes, Madam Chair, do you want to?
And as you say, always ask.
Always.
Remember to ask them. We can't just sit back and expect someone to step up and volunteer. Teachers are not typically people who go, me, I want to do that. But if you ask, and that's your line, Jim.
Yep. I hope you read my little article in the newsletter, and I hope you got the newsletter, by the way. We mailed that newsletter on December 26th. we got reports yesterday at the board meeting that people got their newsletter last Saturday. That's over 60 days. Jack Poston does not have his newsletter yet. And it's not our fault. I don't know what to say. Sandy Applegate, I'm actually looking at you today. I've been on so many meetings with you and you're not there. I mean, you're there, but you're not pictured. So welcome. But Sandy Applegate has written her congresswoman saying what's going on, and they want to give excuses to the weather. We've had 7 days of bad weather in those 2 months. I mean, the post office is got problems. So we apologize for that, although it's really not our fault. We mailed it out plenty early, and that's the second mailing we've had in 2020 that took 2 months to get there. So we filed complaints on that note with the post office. They're supposed to be investigating. We also contacted our mail house, who said they've had several complaints from other associations, and they are trying to check into that and get things moving also. And there have been hearings in Washington, D.C. regarding the post office. So hopefully in 2021, it'll get better than that. But I hope you got your newsletter. In that newsletter is an article from Tip O'Neill. Says people like to be asked. So yes, that's my message. You got to ask, got to ask, got to ask. So legislatively, I'm going to start off by saying this is probably the most unfriendly public school legislature in my 28 years up here. The leadership of the House and the Senate are anti-public education. They have put anti-public education as the chairs of the education committees. So we have a job to do. School choice is their big thing. The expansion of charter schools and tax credits, education tax credits, which are vouchers. That's what they are. They're vouchers for private schools. And so right quick, our first call to action this year was on Senate Bill 55. It was a big old omnibus bill that expanded charters and enacted a voucher program. We had a call to action, and that bill has stalled in the Senate, to let you know that there are 17 no votes, which is positive. It takes 18 to kill something, 18 to pass something. So we're teetering on one vote out there. And when leadership has the drive and they think the mandate of the vote of the people, they will twist arms and they will do lots of things to get those votes. So as a legislative committee, we've got to be involved. We've got to answer the calls to action. So what I'm saying is we were successful in stalling that bill so far, but we're going to have, it's a long time till May 15th. That's the last day of session. So that being said, that's positive news. In the House Bill 349 was a voucher bill costing $100 million a year. Currently, well, at the time, public schools were underfunded by $600 million from withhelds, not fully funded, different things, 600 million. The governor just released 213 million of that last week. So now the schools are just underfunded by 400 million. Think about 400 million. That's $500 million, folks. But the point is, where are they going to get the extra 100 million to fund the voucher program? That's basically a tax cut for the rich who already send their kids to private school. That is going to send tax dollars to homeschool. And they're going to send tax dollars to religious schools. And I want to make the comment on this. I'm Catholic, so I'm going to rhetorically say, I don't want Baptists having my money. And there's probably Baptists out there saying, I don't want those Catholics to have my money. I mean, it's tax dollars, folks. It's tax dollars. And let me remind everyone that there are hundreds of religions out there, from Muslim to Buddhist to devil worshipers. I mean, are you going to give tax money to all these people? It's just a bad, bad, bad policy for tax dollars. So in the House, that bill, House Bill 349, passed by the minimum of 82 votes. It takes 82 votes to pass a bill. The current Republican majority has 118 members. So they had to work, the leadership of the House, had to work very hard and twist a lot of arms to just get 82. So I want to give a shout out to those retired teachers of the Republican majority that stood their ground and said, I'm not voting for this bill. So I hope you know how I sent out a vote on how your rep voted. We want to for sure thank those that have voted against that bill, because they voted against their leadership. And that's very hard to do a lot of times. So minimum of 82 votes, but it did pass the House, so it's in the Senate now. So we're going to have to we're going to have to work hard to try to defeat that bill, because here's the main reason. It takes scarce tax revenue away from public schools. Public school funding K through 12 is House Bill 2. Always. And that's because the Constitution of this state says, after you service your debt, which is paying tax credits, you shall fund an equal and adequate public school system, House Bill 2. And there are 16 appropriation bills. So House Bill 2 should be funded first, before colleges, before roads, before anything. And so we want them to uphold their oath of office, that they swear to uphold the Constitution of this state and fund the public schools in an equal and adequate way. So I want to make this comment that public school funding is at 2005 levels. Has there not been any inflation? And then on that note, you see why we're 49th in the nation in beginning teacher salaries. We're 45th in the nation in teacher salaries. They're not adequately funding the public school system. So to spend more money on school choice, it's just not a good idea, at least until they fund the public schools in an equal and adequate way. So that being said, I talked about House Bill 349. Now I want to talk about House Bill 439. It's going to be confusing. 349 is vouchers already passed the House. 439 is a bill you haven't heard of yet, but I want to make you aware of it. It's probably the second most dangerous bill I've seen regarding our pension system. House Bill 439 allows for school districts to have up to 25% of their staff, teaching staff, as associate degrees with a permit to teach. That takes them out of PSRS. So 25% of payroll does not go into PSRS. That jeopardizes the financial health of the PSRS system. Make sure you're all muted. Somebody's coughing. Okay. So that's a very dangerous bill to the financial health of our system. And it's dangerous because it puts those teachers that are associate degrees with a permit into peers, which is a benefit that's not as good as the PSRS system. So it's going to hurt in retaining experienced teachers in the classroom. It's going to be bad for our kids. They don't have any training in teaching. But the real danger of this is administrators who are not being funded from the state in an adequate way at 2005 levels to think about, how do I cut my expenses? Well, let me see. I'll get rid of my $50,000 a year teacher and I'll hire one for 30 with an associate's degree and put them into pairs where I don't have to pay 14.5% of their salary into the PSRS system. And it's not, I don't think it's necessarily that administrators want to do that, but you know, their job is to balance the budget. And so the incentive is going to be to use these associate degree teachers to an extent. I don't know what that extent would be. So this bill had a committee hearing. It's not been voted out of committee yet. PSRS is opposed to it. We went on record as opposed to it. So I want you to be aware of that bill because we have to kill that bill. We have to. So by the time this year's over, since this is the legislative report, you're going to probably see several call to actions. And I need your help, as Chairman Greason has said, that everybody have a legislative chair at their unit level that then asks the unit members to answer their calls to action. Remind them how important it is to answer the calls to action. You know, God helps those that helps themselves. We've got to know that there's forces out there that don't believe in public schools, especially this current legislature. So I'll just say, report this. When I talk about call to actions, Sarah's going to give you a little lesson on phone to action. We paid $9,000 for this service. I want you to know that this is not free, but it's a great service. You're going to hear about it in just a minute. But I want to say we had 1,500 people use that last call to action, which is pretty good. And we had about a 50% open rate on our email call to action, which is about 8,000. So we could maybe think we had 9,500, it's less than that, but 9,500 contacts with the legislature. That needs to double. I'm asking you, let's double that. Because, you know, you might have your legislator say, yeah, I got a form letter. I got some form letters. Yeah, big deal. Well, that may be true, but if you have 1,000 of them in a state rep district in your office, you're going to pay attention. I promise you, I've been there. It's all about numbers. It's all about votes. Politics is local. They don't care what Jim Crider says. They care what you say, especially you as retired educators. You're educated, you're mastered, you're doctored, you're members involved in the community, members of your church, go to church with them, go to Rotary, who knows what all. You guys and ladies are involved at the community level, and you know what's going on. So you have more clout than you think when you contact these legislators. So with that, I guess I will end.
You have some questions.
I do?
Yeah, the first one is Dana Melton asked about the mandate. You said that these legislators feel like they have a mandate. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Sure. We just come off an election. They have 118 Republicans in the House. They think that's a mandate. The voters have mandated school choice. That's what they think. That's what they believe. And same in the Senate. They have
not mine. They're Republicans, but they're not for what you're saying.
I'm not cussing Republicans. I am saying they have super majorities. The election elected them, and they feel, they being the leadership of the House and the Senate, that they have a public voted mandate. This is not partisan. This is just the way it is. And Dan Hegeman's flopping, by the way, on Senate Bill 55. So you need to stay on him, Miss Gay. But anyway, that's what I mean by a mandate. You know, after an election, that's when people feel they have a mandate of the vote of the people. Everybody does. Joe Biden thinks he has a mandate of the vote of the people, right? There's nothing partisan about this. This is just the way it is. So they feel they have a mandate of school choice and vouchers, and that's what they're pushing for. So what's the next question?
The next one is not really, it's more of a comment, but Kathleen says this will unfairly impact rural and small town areas where there are no viable options, even for those who want to send their kids to non-public schools. Denise says, what is your understanding that the currently proposed voucher bill will only apply to communities with over 30,000 citizens, meaning that small local parochial schools will not benefit from tax dollars, but instead the monies will only go to big cities?
Well, that's kind of correct. The point being is, rural Missouri, that you're going to have less tax dollars from the state because they're going to go to the religious and private schools. They're going to be going to the charters in cities over 30,000, which there are a lot of cities over 30,000, by the way, in this state. 30,000 is not a big number. So even though, I mean, rural schools will suffer, and that's the whole point of what MRTA's argument is. It takes scarce tax dollars from public school funding. And really, rural Missouri, you get a bigger percentage from the foundation formula than city schools, but you don't have a tax base. Your tax base is agriculture. If not for the formula from the state, you wouldn't have very little money to run your school. So the state funding is very important to rural Missouri, and you shouldn't allow them to take money away from you to put them into big cities and charters and vouchers. That's your argument. And yes, there are 118 Republicans in the Missouri House. There are 163 members of the Missouri House. So you can see that that is a super, super majority. Next question is 439 moving. As I stated, it's had a committee hearing. It has not been passed out of committee. So we're watching it very closely. So right now it's not moving. That's why you have not heard from me yet on this. And is there any more, Sarah?
Yes, Kathleen wants to know, have Msta and Mnea come out against HB 439?
They have not officially yet. They did not testify against the bill. They may think the bill's not got a chance of coming out, but I think different. Besides that, this affects the retirement system. This is our job, is to protect that retirement system and our pension benefits. That's what we do. That's our priority. So.
Okay, and then, oh, sorry, were you done?
What's 50% of what open group? I think I talked about 50% opening rate from our email.
Oh, right.
We send out a call to action to about 16,000 members that we have good email addresses for. Yeah. And Sarah can tell how many people open it. So we've had a 50% open rate last time, which that needs to be better, but that's not bad. Open rate. So we could kind of say, well, about 8,000 people responded. Just because you opened it does not mean you responded. We don't know who actually responded. So all I'm saying is, need your help to make sure call to action gets opened and acted upon especially this year. Once again, from Pam, it says, what do we do when our legislators are on our side? Who do we need to contact? You always contact your rep. If they're on your side, you need to say, thank you, please stay there. Because if they don't have support from home, then the Speaker of the House, which I've been, can pull you in the office and say, hey, you like being on Education Committee? Well, if you don't vote my way, I'm taking you off. That's called twisting arms. Oh, you like that third floor office? Well, how would you like to be on the second floor and have to go up them steps every time you vote? That happens. That's called twisting arms. So if your rep is on your side, thank him or her and encourage them to stick, because it's hard sometimes to stick. Who are the senators that are on the fence? I don't have them in front of me. We do know who they are. I've been working very closely with the Missouri Council of School Administrators, who have really been keeping account, and they have contacted me a couple times, and that's the reason I made the Dan Hageman comment, because Dan keeps going back and forth. One day he's with us, one day he's not. So, but that's one of them that's on the fence. But just have confidence in your MRTA leadership that we will tell you when you need to act. And there might come times that we just might have a very targeted call to action, which I might say, Region 1, please contact Dan Hageman today. You know, that's an example. That being said, just please pay attention to your email. Please check them every day. I know retirees sometimes don't do that. But you know, during legislative session, I'm asking you to check your email every day and act on call to actions.
Kim,
Yes.
when you do a call to action, they don't need to wait. I mean, because sometimes your call to action, they're going to do something, the legislature, the very next day. They need to hear from us that night or that afternoon. So they need to do it quickly.
And I've had members complain about that when I say, right today, the bill may come up on the calendar tomorrow, but we have no control over that. And sometimes they do that on purpose in order to keep lobbies like us from gearing up. I would like to give you 3 or 4 a week's notice. Hey, you got a week to contact your rep. But that's not really the way it works anymore. So I'm sorry. If MRTA says, please contact today, the bill may be on the calendar tomorrow. I mean, why would we make this up? This is the way the legislature is working, so I need you to act. That's why I'm asking people to open your call to action, look for them on a daily basis. And I'll finish up by saying, I would never send you a call to action just for the heck of it. Not as an exercise. A call to action is a serious thing. And as you can see, we don't try very hard not to do that unless we got to do it. So please watch for that. Anything else, Sarah, on there?
The only question was, I saw, sorry, there's a lot of questions or statements and things. Macon Worthman asked, would it be better to contact friends and people to spread the word about HB 439 now or wait?
I think you ought to wait till you get a notice from MRTA, a call to action. I want to make, you're the leaders in extra unit meetings. You can mention this bill, but you don't need to make a great big effort of informing people yet. Wait until we see, like for example, if the bill gets voted out of committee, then we're going to have a call to action. So we're kind of waiting and seeing. So just have faith in MRTA. We will help. We will try to inform you on what to do. And one thing I've learned over my legislative life is timing is everything. It is. Timing's important. So have faith in us. Watch for a call to actions. And no, you don't need to spread word on 439 right now. You can talk about it at your unit meetings, your Zoom meetings if you'd like. I mean, that's fine. But don't do anything in a big way yet. What's going on? Senate Bill 754. I have no idea. What is that? Oh. And what's 754? Who's Pam? Pam?
Jim, that's the one I talked about yesterday about it, the virtual school bill that has if the parent decides to go with one, it's $6,000 from the school.
Yeah.
The school has to pay $6,000 and they're pushing that, I think.
Well, this has not been on MRTA's radar at all, but I do know, now that I know what it is, MSTA and Mnea are very much involved in that fight. So if they ask us to help them with it, we will help them. But I have confidence that they're going to try to fix that. The best news I wanted to tell you is yesterday, House Bill 811, which dealt with work after retirement, was perfected in the House by an overwhelming vote, and it should be third read and passed today or tomorrow. House Bill 811. Would increase the limit for retirees to make working after retirement from $15,000 a year to the Social Security earnings limit, which is currently $18,900. So for those retirees that are working after retirement, this is a very positive bill.
Okay, thank you.
Also in that bill was an effort to extend critical working shortage law. Currently, you can work 2 years for a school district as a retiree without penalty if there's a shortage of a certain teacher. So they're going to extend that to 4 years. And that's an effort to help rural districts with math teachers and those kind of things that they can't quite get sometimes. That's positive. But the real positive thing is your work paid off. Remember on Blitz Day what our #1 issue was? 2.55 factor after 31 years. Remember, it expired, and we want to see that back because it creates a savings for the system. The longer you work, the less they have to pay you. But it also gives retirees an option and hopefully to stay a little longer in the classroom. So that bill, 828, that was #1 on our issues of importance. That was part of our message to our legislators. On February 11th, it was amended onto that bill, and it is part of the bill, and it has been perfected and will pass the House. So if it was, I believe if it wasn't for MRTA putting that bill out front and center to the legislature, as we did on February 11th, it would not have happened. So congratulations to everyone. This is a very positive bill. And I thank the legislature for passing it. And stay tuned because we're going to have to then try to get it to the Senate, right? So I am done, Madam Chair. Any more questions? I hope I hadn't confused anyone. I hope that I've tried to educate you on what's happening currently in the legislature. But I think the main point is that things are happening in the legislature. The legislature is meeting. Due to the pandemic, there's not a lot of public input. MRTA has to take positions on bills via website. And that always worries me because I'd rather be there in person. But there's a lot of COVID in the building still. And but that's not stopping them. They're still meeting and they're still moving. So stay tuned. Watch for your call to actions. And I guess I'll turn this over to Sarah because this great new program we need to promote. Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so phone to action. I think according to the chat, a lot of you guys have already signed up and you love it, which is great. I'm glad to see that. But just a little background on this. This is something that we have wanted to do for years, but we really just didn't feel like we could justify the expense. The Principals Association uses this, secondary school principals, so that's how we found out about it. And anyway, it's a really great program, and I really wish you would talk about it within your units. The best part about it is that what's going to happen is you can be anywhere. You can be at the doctor's, you can be at your daughter's house babysitting, you can be wherever, and you're going to get your call to action on your phone. And Jim just talked about that when we send a call to action, we need people to act immediately, not next week, immediately. So phone to action makes that very, very easy. So if you want to sign up, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. The easiest way to sign up is, I don't know if you guys have seen our new website, by the way. This is our new website. AMBA, our new benefits provider, paid for this website for us. This is probably a $15,000 cost savings to MRTA, so we are very thankful for it. But anyway, this is the new website, and if you guys can see here, there's a tab that says Legislative. This is very easy. You're just going to click on this tab that says Legislative, and you're going to scroll down to the very bottom, and there's a little link here. You can watch this video, but you can click on this link, and it's just going to pull up this form, and that all you have to do is put your information in. And after you put your information in, what will happen is whenever we send a call to action, it's going to come straight onto your phone. So like Jim said, he was stuck in traffic one day, and he literally was able to send his legislator an email from his phone while he was sitting at, like stuck in traffic at a stoplight or something. That's how fast and easy it is, literally that fast. It does give you the opportunity, we pre-write the message. It does give you the opportunity to edit that message if you don't like what we wrote, you can change it. And what we do on our end of it is when I go in, I can set it to go to your legislator. So you don't have to know who your state rep is or their email address or your state senator, or if it's a federal issue, we can use it for federal issues. But what's great about it is it saves you time looking that information up. You're literally just going to click a few buttons and that's it. All you have to know is your name and address, which I think you all know. So anyway, it's very easy. Like Jim said, we had 1,500 people take advantage of it the last time we sent a call to action. Well, that's only the third time we've ever sent it. So this is a totally new program. And I just think if you try it, you're going to love it. Now, if you don't get text messages on your phone, or you don't want text messages on your phone, there is another way you can use this. When we send our call to action emails out, if you have noticed this year at the very top, it says, try our new automated email service or something to that effect. You can click on that link and it's going to let you use phone to action on your computer as well. And it works the same where you're going to put your name and address in and it's going to pre-fill your state legislator. So I just really encourage everyone to use it. It's awesome. I know it was $9,000, as Jim said, which is a lot of money, and it took us a lot of time to justify spending that much money, but with COVID and everything that's going on, we just felt like now was the time. Plus, you know, it's a new era at MRTA. We're trying to be as technologically advanced as possible. So we did spend a lot of money on it, but we think it'll be worth it if you guys can get the word out and get people to sign up to use it. So, Jim?
You might mention that issue where something might pop up, say this might be a cost to you.
Oh, yes. Okay, so when you sign up, you will get a text message, and it will, it's not a text message. You will get, your phone will pop up a little message that says, message and data rates may apply. Okay, that is normal. So what that means is if you have unlimited texting, which most people do, it's not going to cost you anything. If you pay, if you have a phone, if you buy minutes for your phone, or you buy like if you have prepaid, like you can buy the prepaid cards for them, those, if you get text messages from us, it is going to cost you one message per, I mean, every text message it's going to cost you. So that's something to keep in mind. If you do buy minutes for your phone, you might not want to do this unless you're going to be okay with paying for those text messages. But most people, that's not an issue. I just want to let you know, because as Jim said, we got a lot of calls, people asking what that meant. That's a normal thing. It's just saying that you know, text messages aren't technically free for some people. So
Sarah, I just,
yeah.
my clarification was, is that annually we will pay $9,000?
Yes.
Okay.
That is $9,000 a year. I'm sorry, Mary, I misunderstood.
That's okay. Thank you.
And like Constant Contact is $2,000 a year. So,
Yeah.
you know, technology nowadays is not necessarily free, especially if you want it secure, especially if you want it to reach the inboxes, and try not to be called spam and all that stuff. So,
Okay, and also Pam put a note in here that says that hers preloaded with the wrong legislator. She is not the first person I have heard of that happening. Pay attention. If that happens to you, please contact me immediately and let me know, because I can have them fix it on the back end. For some reason, it uses, I don't know, it changes people's address sometimes a little hokey. So, and also if you live on a highway and you put in highway versus HWY, that makes a difference. So if you have any problems like that, please let me know immediately. But I think that's all I have, and I don't see any more questions, so.
Sarah,
Yes.
I might add, everyone in your packets, you have this booklet, I guess you should say, that has all the contact information for the legislators if you don't have that already.
Not everyone got that.
Not everyone got that. Oh, sorry.
A lot of
Yes,
people
you
got
can
it.
get it if you want it, right?
No, we're out. A lot of people got it. I think
Okay,
all
sorry.
the unit president, Paige might have to change, correct me on this, but I think they sent it to all of the unit presidents, the MRTA
Okay.
board, all MRTA legislative chairs, and I think that was really about it. So some people got it and some people did not. If you would like that, we are actually out of them. However, I can send you a printed copy of something that is similar.
Okay.
but on our call to actions, there's a link there where you can find your rep and your
Right.
senator.
The Senate, the Missouri Senate on their webpage has a service where you can put in your address and it will tell you every legislator on the federal level, local level, and I think it even has your like city mayor and things like that.
Okay. And I guess as a unit president, if you wanted to copy certain pages for your members, you could, if you got that booklet, you know, for
Absolutely.
your specific area.
Mhm.
And that out at your meetings.
Yep.
Okay.
Jim, you're muted.
Linda
I
or
would hope,
Tim or
I would hope-
Sarah? Okay. Go ahead.
I just saying, I would hope by now, especially this group, knows who your rep is and knows who your senator is. But we need to encourage people to do that. And we always have said, hey, it's been an election year. Your rep might have changed. Your senator might have changed. You need to look it up and stick it on your refrigerator door.
Yeah,
But-
actually, sorry, go ahead.
That's what phone to action is so neat, because
Yeah.
generally it's accurate. You put in your address,
Yeah.
it'll tell you who your rep is, who your senator is, and it'll send it to them for you.
Yeah, and actually, can I just challenge everybody to do something for me, please? We're about to have a break, or you can do it at your lunch break. But if you have not gone to MRTA's new website and signed up for phone to action, I ask you to please do it today. If you decide you don't like it, all you have to do is when you get a text message, you just reply stop and they will stop sending them to you. But I just encourage you all to do that today at our upcoming break or at the lunchtime break. but do it before you forget. You know, don't wait till tomorrow or the weekend. You know, don't put it off, because if you're like me, you'll forget. So I challenge everybody to please go to the website today and sign up.
And the thing about it too is it's easy, it's convenient, and a lot of the work's done for you. So it takes away the excuse from people to say, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to contact my legislator. I don't know what their name
Right.
is. It does it for you.
Right.
It is
Jim,
simple.
Jim, can I ask you a question? I've got my book and it says Vescovo, he's the Speaker of the House, right?
That's true.
And I have read about him. He has 5 children. He lives in Arnold. And I'm wondering if he sends those 5 children to Fox School.
I have no idea.
I don't either, but I'd like to find out, because I have a feeling he's a homeschool person or private school or something.
Yeah,
You think?
yeah, probably so.
Yeah, probably.
What are the-
I'm gonna find out.
Okay.
There's a question in the chat, Nancy Smith. Yes. Okay, so there is another way to sign up for Phone to Action, and I didn't tell you guys about it because it confuses a lot of people. But if you understand how to send a new text message to somebody, you can text the word MRTA. It doesn't matter if it's capitalized or not capitalized. It can be, I just go ahead and do uppercase if it makes you feel better about it, but I don't think it matters. You can text MRTA to 52886. And that will also allow you to sign up for Phone to Action. What will happen if you do that is, if you text MRTA to 52886, you will get a text message back. In that text message, there will be a link. You'll tap on that link and then it will load the web page. I should say that too. I didn't say that. When we send the call to action, it comes to you as a text message. In that text message, there is a link. You simply tap on the link and that's how you get Phone to Action to work. I had that question from a few people. So anyway, it's great. Nancy also just pointed out something that I should say. What's really great about Phone to Action is if you don't have internet, or if you live in a really rural area where you can't get internet, but you can get cell phone signal, this is great. So you will still need to be able to get internet on your phone. If you're in an area where there's no signal, but you can text, that's not going to work. You will have to be able to you will have to use the internet. But like where my mom lives, for instance, she can get on the internet on her phone, but she can't get internet at her house. So she uses her phone for all of her internet. This is perfect for people like that. So I highly encourage people like in rural areas to sign up for this.
Very good. Okay. Does Linda or Jim or Sarah have anything else to say?
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for attending.
Hey, very good. Any other questions there, Sarah? I don't think so.
I don't see any more, no.
When do we come back?
10:35.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
10:35.
Okay, one quick thing, because Sherry Brandis just pointed this out. You have to text the word MRTA to the number. You have to put in the number. That's who you're texting to. So that is important.